Hi, friends. How's it going? Welcome back to Attack the Pantry. I am Jenn de Vega. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during the panini and for the rest of your adult life. Throw us an egg in the chat if you ever see what you're like, if you ever like what you're seeing or hearing on this here Twitch situation. Last time on Attack the Pantry, we talked to my good friend Emily Hanan about the many wonders of vanilla extract. I'm very sorry, and I apologize to everyone for bringing up the detail about the beavers. You can watch all of the past clips here on my channel if you click on videos. The entire archive is located at youtube.com/JENNDLV, and you can check that out here. I'm going to put that on the screen. There you go. youtube.com/JENNDLV. Yeah, make sure to subscribe there, my friends. Hey, let's get some business out of the way. I am a gosh darn Twitch affiliate now. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can gift a subscription every month to your favorite creators. And if you have one, you can click that purple button that says gift a sub, and you'll get the little crown next to your name in the chat, like a few people in the chat. Please show off your little crowns because they're really cute. Good to see you all. Oh my gosh. Hi, Guam. Hi, Emily. Hi, Danelle. I know. Ooh, a Pescatarian will be joining us. Robert, Aaron. Yes. Yeah, it's true. People do need to know the beaver detail because that's yeah, wow. It's disturbing to know the FDA approved beaver product as a vanilla extract substitute. Yes, Danelle, you are a regular subscriber of many months. Thank you so much for your support. It's very much appreciated because look at how fancy this stream has gotten with your support. Look at that. Well, what else do I have to say to you? Well, there are lots of really good links below the video. One way to help us out right now is to tell folks that you're watching this show so that they can join in, and it's just more fun with other people, because what if they don't know some of the things we're talking about and it helps them in their life? You know? Yeah. So check them all out. There's Patreon, there's an Etsy. You can get my cookbook there. There's lots of stuff. Follow me on social. And most importantly, though, is also that link to submit your photos every week. If you cook food or you see food at the grocery store that you don't know how to cook, take a picture and send it in, and I will happily show it on the stream, and we will talk about it. Yes. Thank you. I do love this new overlay. Hey, David, it's Wednesday. Time to learn about some food. It's true. Thank you for following, Foregathers. Thank you so much for following. Anyway, too much me talking and not enough of my guests. Friends, I love this that we have guests. And so please welcome my friend, Shannon. Hi.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
It's so nice. Hey,
Yes, we've got a
everybody.
lot of folks in the chat today. Please throw an egg in the chat for Shannon. So who are you? What's your deal? What's up?
I am a video essayist. I started out doing stuff on like film culture and history. Then I became a little bit better known for doing a series of video essays on what are called parasocial relationships on YouTube at Strucci Movies. I am a player on the teenage body horror superhero body horror podcast, Critical Bits, or Natural Play. We do well before the pandemic, and this for the first time in a long time. This Friday, we're doing a live show in person at a convention. We had a different live show that we canceled, but I think we're going to do that. I'm also the film correspondent for the podcast Struggle Session. And before the convention, I would panel at, before the pandemic, I can't talk right. I would panel at conventions to talk about movies and horror theory and stuff like that. So I do a bunch of different stuff. I also really like food. I'm very enthusiastic. I'm not like a particularly skilled or experienced cook, but I am very enthusiastic about food. I'll say that.
We will find out exactly how enthusiastic. But how do we know each other?
I'm thinking, I mean, we have a ton of mutual friends.
Yes.
But I am, is it through, because when you said that we were going to talk about that, I was like, how exactly did we meet? Through just like tabletop
I think it's just
podcasts,
through
community
tabletop.
stuff?
I think you were coordinating maybe a guest stream. Like I do a lot of guest game.
Oh, was it the Make a
play.
Wish
Maybe
last year?
Yeah, I think
With
it was
like
maybe
Nikki and April and stuff. They
Yes.
were helping
Yes,
us
that's
with it.
exactly
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
With the Sladies.
The Sladies, who are local here. They're great. I like them a lot. Yeah.
Who I've started to play with a lot more often after that, thanks to you. So that was really
They're
great.
awesome. Yeah, after I was able to see like them in person for the first time after, because they live in Atlanta, but we had never met.
Right.
We met during the pandemic. April had a party.
Oh, cool.
Before all the Delta variant stuff.
Sure.
And I was like, oh my God, I get to meet you in person and hug them and stuff.
Yeah. And then we've also played a few, like another one shot with my studio, Fortunate Horse. And we played, was it Mothman?
It was the Mothman game. It was very fun.
Yeah. We played a game. For anyone who doesn't know what Mothman is, it's like Mothman moved in. He was only supposed to stay the weekend. Like you have to kick out a bad roommate, basically. And we had a good time with it. It's really, really fun.
Very fun.
But today we're going to talk about food. So folks, if you're new in the chat, you can ask us questions and we can put it on the screen and we will get to it. We do have a topic. We're going to try to stick to pescatarian diet or, anything ancillary to that. We're very much open to it. Oh my goodness. So get some eggs in the chat. We got a raid from Alex. Egg gang, rise up.
Look at all them eggs.
We love eggs. Let me show you my first stinger that I made.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my egg react in the corner. Thanks so much, Alex, for bringing your homies. Your homies, my homies. Actually, we share mods too, I think. Toria's here, James is here, Guam is here. Oh, so exciting. Love it. Thank you so much. Wow. So cute. We do love eggs in this space. We love eggs so much. Hey, Owen. Good to see ya. Ooh, huge mix of tabletop and my UK friends in the chat. Really, really cool.
Interesting.
So friends, next segment of the show, you could participate next week. So make sure that you send me or tag me in your photos on Instagram and Twitter, and I will share it on the screen. So pardon me, it's going to get a little weird for a second. You know, do that weird zoomy thing, when it shares a bunch of screen. Okay, look. Here's my lovely desktop. Welcome to my desktop. This is my workaround for not using OBS. So let's take a look at what folks have sent in this week. If you would like to be featured next week, please do tag me on Instagram and Twitter at Randwiches. This is from my Aunt Marianne. Even my family has gotten into this. They started texting me and tagging me on Facebook. I know I don't really use Facebook, but they started sending me food photos, and I'm like, well, dang, I'm just gonna keep logging to Facebook. But she is really into K-dramas.
Oh,
it's so cool. And then she started just making food from the show. So she's making bibimbap. Like, we got that lovely fried egg in the middle too. Pretty
it looks
cool.
delicious. It looks really good.
It looks really good. Good job, Dion. My other aunt, Auntie May, sent me a beef bowl. So it's got like brown rice. It looks like cabbage, some medium rare steak, grilled onions, and a huge glob of guacamole on top.
It looks good too.
I know.
And some cilantro.
Yeah, they live in a gluten-free household, so they do not do bread or things like that. Yeah, looks great. Like, good lighting too. I can see from the right. We're like, ooh, that's a window.
Yeah, I was gonna say she got some natural light on
nice natural light, yo.
On the guacamole.
Yeah, you see that nice natural fats in the avocado. This is my cousin Ava, who is flambeing bananas. And this is actually the correct distance to be away
Not super close to the open flame.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever flambéed anything before?
I have not. It intimidates me tremendously. I'm scared of being burned. It's like I have more of a thing about it than I think most people.
Rightfully so. I mean, the first time I did it, I burned off my right eyebrow.
Oh wow.
I had my face over it because I was like, am I pouring it in there? Because sometimes when you pour alcohol, it's kind of clear. And you're like, I don't know, is it going in there? And you
Let me
should
get close and see.
lean back. And if anything, look to the side if you want to check the drippage. But yeah, lean back when you when you flambe anything. And actually, you move the pan a little bit off the heat because you want to catch the alcohol the tip of the pan, and then if it's too much, you can just completely remove it from the heat. So that's like a safety thing. So if she's on the left, she's on the left burner. So if you're leaning back and it's like too much, you can just move it to the right burner and then walk away for a second. You're like, nah, hell nah. Yeah, this is the reason why in commercial kitchens you have to either wear a hat, a handkerchief, or have all of your hair like pulled all the way back because you might burn something, yo.
Mm-hmm. Very risky to just have your hair out with fire.
Toria says, flambe is too much for me, but I got a wee kitchen blowtorch, mostly for marshmallows. Yeah, actually, blowtorch is the other alternative to that. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Emily clicks out for 2 seconds and there's a physics diagram. Yeah, I collect really cool backgrounds, actually. I buy, I don't know if you've heard of this website called Sedition. It's like a digital artist platform, and a lot of fine artists have pieces that you can buy. And I support a lot of them and get free like little desktops. So my collection is some of those, and then a lot of them are visualists that I've worked with in the past. So I used to coordinate concerts, and so we would always hire somebody to do really cool projections. And so you'll see a few of those cycle in. They're like the trippier end of what I have here.
That's cool.
But yeah, I love background. So folks, if you got cool background websites, like send them over. Or if you've got cool backgrounds, I would love to also rotate them in. Leah, who sometimes is also in the chat, has a great generative art thing that like changes all the time, and you can screenshot it and you're like, whoa, it's really cool. Anyway, I digress. That is Ava flambeing things. And then this is Dylan's project. I think it's tepache. I think this is like a liqueur that you stew with fruit for a long time. I don't exactly know the composition of it, but I cannot wait to see the result of this.
It looks delicious. I don't even know what fruit it is. I'm like, that sounds really good.
I think it might be pineapple. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to Google this later. But gorgeous. Also great tabletop. Like look at that, looks like a great gaming table.
It does.
And beautiful dried flowers there in the background too. And a tiny baby bamboo. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Danelle says tepache is usually pineapple. Yeah. Thank you for the confirmation. Look, we got fact checkers here in the chat. This is good. Real good. How many other Twitch channels have fact checkers in the chat? All right. That's what people sent in this week. I always have room to share more. So if y'all please don't be shy, friends, about sharing your cooking photos. And also if something goes wrong, let us know. Like maybe we can talk through how you can fix it next time. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Okay. So I've been getting into a lot of just food memes lately. So I'm not watching Gossip Girl, but there was a trailer that went up that was like, fan, your favorite, this rich kid who goes to school in Manhattan went to a protest in Brooklyn at the Navy Yard and picked up donuts for the people who were on strike. And so he name dropped Fan, which is an actual donut place run by, I believe, Fanny Gerson, who is an amazing chef and really good donuts. And so I shared this plus the actual donut from Fan.
Ooh.
It's pretty, right?
It's beautiful.
Pretty.
It looks like it would taste good too, and not just look
real
nice.
good.
So it's very good.
It's cream cheese frosting with rose petal, pistachio, and I believe some orange blossom in there. Like, woo,
Ooh.
woo, really good flavor profile. But I was essentially fact checking logistically, like, how could this guy from Gossip Girl get from Manhattan to Bed-Stuy to get donuts and then to the Navy Yard? And it's such a funny thing because that through line is, of course, this rich kid took an Uber to a protest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, yeah, yeah. Anyway, those are things I think about, which are
It's
dumb.
distracting. It starts going in your head while you're watching it. You're like, wait a second.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. I live in New York. I know how far away that is. That's pretty far. Have you ever had raw Jersey corn before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'm from the West Coast. We have corn, but it's not like Jersey corn. We always have to cook it, and I was told, "Oh, you can eat Jersey corn raw off the cob," and I was like, "I don't believe you. I don't.
That sounds weird. Yeah.
Oh, it is some white people shit." And then I was like, "No, actually, delicious, very very delicious, very raw. It has a lot of natural sugar, and it needs
Ooh.
no dressing whatsoever. Dare I say, no butter either. Whoa."
Bold claims.
I know, but it's that delicious. So this is Jersey corn with some edamame, some lemon pepper that I dehydrated myself, and then big old flecks of that Maldon salt. Sponsor me, Maldon salt.
Tweet
I
clips
swear to
at
God.
him.
I swear to God. But yeah, this was like my breakfast the other day. Danelle says Jersey corn is the corn that makes bed squeak sounds when you bite into it. Oh, you're saying it's a horny corn? It's horny corn. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yes, you should have sent in your picture of tempura spam musubi. Oh, very, very good, very, very good. Yes, pistachio and rose are unparalleled. Delicious, delicious. Jersey Club joke. Yep. All right. Yes, this was my breakfast the other day. It was very refreshing, especially since it's been like 80, 90 degrees over here. What's that in Celsius, my UK friends? I don't actually know the conversion.
Is that early 30s Celsius? I don't either.
I have no
It's
idea.
also hot here.
It's very
Every
hot
day.
everywhere. Everywhere, every day. It's going to remain hot, I think, for the rest of the year, which is messed up. This is a tuna poke from a book that I'm working on. This dish originates from Hawaii, not from the quick scoop shop in Manhattan. Does not come in bucket form, naturally. It is delicious. It's a quickly marinated raw fish dish. So this is tuna with shoyu, scallion, sweet Maui onion, a little bit of black sesame, and then some sesame oil. It's very, very simple if you want to Google some poke recipes. It's spelled like poke, P-O-K-E, but it's poke. Shannon, have you had poke?
I love poke. I don't know if I've ever had like a nicer poke. It's mostly just sort of like I don't know, like you said, the scoop shop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do also just conceptually, it's a good idea and it tastes really good. So
yeah, it's conceptually like just very easy to do and quick, and you can have it over either a salad or over rice or any grain of your choice. But yeah, I think I've been to Hawaii and I've had it from the grocery store there, and they have so many different varieties. So like wasabi, they have a mango avocado one, and then some with tobiko, which is the tiny, tiny fish eggs. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, Owen says 85 Fahrenheit is about 30 Celsius. Okay, thank you. See, I don't know. I forgot that formula from high school years ago.
I always just Google it.
Oh, okay. So David says, someone says good ballpark conversion with Celsius is half Fahrenheit plus 2. However, I was an English major, so I don't take my word for it. Same. Shannon, what was your major? Do you have a major?
I majored in basically like telecom or video production and minored in film studies.
Whoa, dope. Cool.
So weird feelings about going to school for that versus learning it on my own, but I made a lot of friends and learned a lot of like event planning kind of stuff.
Same.
So I think it was worth it.
Same.
Yeah, film stuff.
Yeah, I majored also in exercise science, which is myology, study of mussels.
Oh, that's cool.
I think some of it translates to cooking, but not all of it. Like, I can glean a few things, but chemically, like, not really. It's a lot of physics, actually. Anyway, this is Tuna Poke I'm working on. Another thing that I'm doing that you know that I'm doing is I'm watching a lot of One Piece. And so I take a lot of screenshots.
Mhm.
And right now I'm in the Water 7 arc, where we have a huge conflict about the ship that they're on. But for anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm binging it because I genuinely like it, and I've been thinking like, oh, I should watch this. So I've been obsessed with Kaku's outfit. I'm like, ooh, this looks like. I'm like, fit check. This is like something I would bookmark on the Hundreds or Extra Butter, which are more like hype beast websites. Like I'm embarrassed that I look at them. Like I'm very embarrassed that I look at them. But lo and behold, I did fucking bookmark one from the Hundreds.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's like, it's not exact, but it's very, very close.
The vibe is there, though.
The vibe is there.
If you do Kaku cosplay.
Yeah, if I could do Kaku cosplay, it's literally like, yeah, it's like teal pants, white, like bright white, clean shoes, and the white hat that says Galila on it. Really easy cosplay. So I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
Should.
Next con, I'll just be Kaku with a very small nose.
Normal nose. I have a Galila hoodie. It's the only hoodie I really wear. Like it's a bootleg one off Redbubble, but it's actually very nice. I love my Galila hoodie.
Everything is bootleg right now. I also did a Pinterest board of Zoro's outfit, like the initial, like very first like season.
Yeah, Haramaki and
Haramaki. So Bandai actually made that Haramaki. But
the official.
It's sold out, it's like not available anywhere. But so I was trying to Google it, and I did not know Haramaki had several other nicknames, like kidney warmer or waist warmer or like midsection warmer. This how all these like funny eBay like tags for it. The kidney warmer was probably my favorite.
Don't want them to get chilly.
Yeah, you don't want to get your kidneys all cold.
Your kidneys warm.
And then the other two things for One Piece. I'm just gonna keep a running list of the egg-shaped people.
Oh, there are gonna be more.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You got more. You got some interesting egg content to look forward to.
I'm so excited. Sure. I love One Piece for the fact that it has a lot of food content, but there's also just a lot of egg stuff as well. So this is Satori from the Skypiea arc, or the Sky Island arc, who's one of the 4 priests. That is a look, though. That yellow hat with the red hair is like very, very striking. This person was very memorable as well. Like they did that little.
Those glasses or goggles? I don't remember. I remember the character.
I don't know.
They're very egg-like.
Yeah, very, very egg-like. I had like a question, like a logistical question. So like, Satori had 2 brothers who were part of the guard, like the armed guard of the Sky Priests, and they were goats. So like, is the goat thing something that happens to you after you become a knight errant of this thing, or how were they brothers?
I don't remember. That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, any
you should see if there was an SBS on it. Oda does this little corner.
Any One Piece lore anyone knows about like Satori and the brothers? Like how are they goat brothers? And why isn't Satori a goat if they're brothers?
So weird.
I don't know. Maybe, different parents, maybe. Okay, I just speculate too much. Anyway, the other one is Tamagon. It's the icon. It's very, very small. It's this is from the Water 7 arc. I don't think I missed anyone else on the earlier seasons, but let me know if I did. Yes, a blended family. Thank you, David. Yes, true. Entirely possible. Anyway, let's move on to photos that you sent in.
I sent a lot. I was like, I don't know what
down. No, this is not the most JV, who was a guest, sent 20, and we had the chat tell us a number between 1 and 20 so that we could just roulette our way through it. But I think this is a manageable amount. Like, is there any particular place you want to start?
Oh, no, wherever.
Okay, we're just going to go from the top, I guess. So you sent in some photos of things you enjoy and things that you've made. So this is something that you've made.
Yes, I actually made this one. It's
Cool.
I really like broccoli cheddar soup, and I had heard about using cashew. I'm not vegan, but I had heard about using cashew cream in place of dairy and stuff like that. So I roasted broccoli and blended it up with cashew cream, and I was like, I actually liked it more than soup with cheese and cream in it, which is insane. But I really like cashew cream in these types of soups.
Is cashew cream a product that you can buy now?
You like soak cashews in water and blend them up, and it's like a very like healthy fat like dairy substitute, or just like makes the soup creamy and adds the cashew flavor to it. Probably be good if you toasted them first too, but I've never done that.
So that's so cool. Like, I know soaking cashews from making cheese. So basically it's the same method really of soaking, and then you're just adding a variable amount of liquid to that product. So if you're soaking the cashews and drain it and then blend it up, it can become a cheese if you dry it out. But if you blend it with the with the liquid, it becomes this like, is that also the line that you drew is also more cashew cream?
It's just straight up cashew cream.
That's very chef's table.
Thank you.
So professional.
I do like cooking. I like it to look nice.
Yeah, it looks really
good. I luck out sometimes and it does.
Did you have this cold or hot?
Hot. You do have to kind of be careful adding the cashew cream. It's sort of like a weird, like sort of later on after you've simmered the broccoli in stock for a while.
It looks very, very, very delicious.
Thank you.
Wow. What is going on here? Oh, I thought that was part of the bowl, that second layer, but that's not. What is this?
This is a hummus from an Israeli restaurant in New Orleans. And it was being at the time I lived in Athens, I think, and food is very cheap there, Athens, Georgia. And I was with my friend Shelby in New Orleans, and it was $16 hummus, but it sounded so good, and it was the best hummus I've ever eaten in my life. I don't know what type of mushrooms those are. Their menus changed. This is years ago. So I couldn't look it up, but it was like,
was this
so good
on Magazine Street?
Is that the sort of like more affluent area? Yes.
Oh, okay. So this might have been a Lone Shia?
Yes. Those are Shia.
I still haven't been there. But
everything else I ate. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But that hummus, I was like, this is the best. And now they have like 8 kinds of hummus that I would want to try all of them. And they're not all $16, but none of them are cheap. So
yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, I would definitely balk at a $16 hummus, but this particular chef is like very good with vegetarian food. Like very thorough. My favorite dish, I would say his most viral dish is on Food 52. If anyone wants to Google it, it's Food 52 whole head cauliflower with a whipped feta.
Ooh.
It is incredible. Like,
I love cauliflower.
You soak the cauliflower head in a mixture of red pepper and wine for, like 30 minutes. You drain that and then you broil it. And so all that wine that's like soaked into it browns the entire head, and it becomes this like kind of like a chicken roast, but it's a cauliflower. They have this very smooth and luxurious feta sauce with goat cheese and cream that goes with it. I mean, just as how beautifully smooth this hummus is, it like the feta sauce is also about like that, like very pillowy and textural. Yeah, $16 hummus. Is this the millennial $5 milkshake? Yes. Listen, you can rag on me about my avocados and my nice olive oil, but it tastes good. Okay. I may be renting my apartment, but
life's short.
Life is short. Eat
the hummus was really good. It was like
a
really
treat. It's not like you're doing this.
And I split it with someone too, so it was $8 hummus.
Yeah, there you go. And it's got like pretty expensive ingredients on it. I mean, that's sunflower sprouts on top,
Ooh.
which are very good. Very kind of like bean sprouts, but not as watery.
Ooh.
But those mushrooms look so good.
There's a little bit of corn, and I'm sure very nice olive oil.
Looks really good. Now I want to go to New Orleans.
I miss New Orleans so much. I had a trip planned right before Corona. I'd even found a place we were going to stay and all this.
I've also always wanted to go to Turkey and the Wolf, which is another place, I think, closer to the more touristy area. But I don't remember what street it's on. Anyway, continuing on. What is this magic?
This is smoked salmon, eggs Benedict from another I think this was a New Orleans place. Was it like the Red Hill Cafe or something? I don't know if it was a particular. It was like we went to a lot of different breakfast places. Like we stayed in Bywater or Marigny, and they would walk around. I just really like hollandaise. Sorry.
I mean, who doesn't love an egg? Throw some eggs in the chat. Seriously, no, there's nothing wrong with loving hollandaise. I love it over there in the Marigny. Like, I like walking around over there. I thought it was just really fun that there's just, frozen drink places that you just get like a little cuppy and you walk around. You're like, oh, great. Thank you.
It's very fun.
Owen says, I didn't realize Shannon was sponsored by the New Orleans Tourist Board.
There's more. I really like New Orleans. I told Jen, I really like New Orleans. Yeah.
Listen. But what's on top? Are those fried capers on top?
I think so. They don't look like normal capers. This was like 2016 that I got this. I just really wanted to make sure I got an eggs Benedict picture because every time I'm at a new like brunch or breakfast place and they have a nice looking Benedict, I'm like, that's what I want. Goopy egg and hollandaise and some kind of salmon. I mean,
that is also just a chunky salmon. Like that's some generous salmon.
Yeah, not the little like grocery store very thin smoked salmon, like little tiny.
An insult, really. I get really mad when I have to pay $9 and it's just one tiny flat of salmon, and I'm like,
yeah, with like no seasoning and it tastes kind of fishy. Yeah, so they're like very nice smoked salmon. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
good. Yeah. I am. We're gonna talk about being pescatarian.
We are gonna talk about it. Option. We can get into it now. I mean, like as it comes up in the photos, like good fish shouldn't really taste fishy.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're going to be eating it fresh, but if it's cured, that's a whole nother issue because it's preserving that fish oil and the salt and stuff. But when you're cooking any fish, it really should not smell bad before you cook it. It should be very clean, briny or salty. I mean, sometimes it can smell a little fatty. You can get that kind of whiff of like umami from it, which is cool. This looks great. I'm getting hungry for breakfast.
Yeah, but I have my little protein shake.
Ooh.
I just hit my...
Hello. This is a fried situation.
Yes, I realized I had photos of the same meal from two different restaurants.
Oh.
So I sent both. This is from a place called Mama's Boy in Athens, Georgia. That is like a very popular, again, sort of like Southern brunch and breakfast restaurant that has like really, really good food. It's always super, super busy. But it's Athens, so it's very cheap. Those are fried green tomatoes, and it's a biscuit with a fake, like a sausage on it. Sausage with a soy sausage. Those fried green tomatoes were really good. I really like Southern food too. That's one thing I talked about. I'm from the South. I'm from Georgia, and I as much of it as I can eat. A lot of it has pork and stuff, but I could definitely eat fried green tomatoes.
Yeah, they look really good and cornmealy, like crisp on the outside. I've been to Athens a few times actually. Not in the recent past, but in another life, I was a music PR person, and yeah, so there's a huge music scene in Athens, and there is one music agency that is based there called Team Claremont, which is named after the Claremont Lounge, and they used to host a prom. Like they had like a little inter-industry like kickball game. So all of these, radio DJs and music directors and PR people like me would come down to Athens and play a K's versus W's kickball game. So if you are from the West Coast, your radio station usually starts with a K. So I come from KDVS, and my office, which is based in New York, most of them were W's, so I had to separate from my coworkers. But bonus, I got to have Calvin Johnson on my team because he ran K Records. So I was like, K's, W's is an epic kickball game. And then afterward, everyone gets dressed up and goes to a prom at what's the venue? What's the big venue?
There are a lot. There's the 40 Watt. There's the Georgia Theater.
It's the 40 Watt. Yeah. So we would go have a show and then like dance at a prom, an adult prom.
That's fun.
Watt. Yeah. And we ate brunch at the Grit. It's across
I love the Grit. Yeah,
Michael Stipe's house.
A famous vegetarian, or famous, but like very well known in the region, vegetarian restaurant. It's really good. That's weird stuff there too.
Yeah, and really good record shopping as well. Like,
yes,
so many good records.
Wuxtree.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know, Athens has been on my mind recently because, during the pandemic, you think, do I want to go to grad school? Like every possible life scenario change passed through my head during the pandemic, and one of them was, should I go to grad school because the University of Georgia has the food preservation, like the U.S. food preservation department is based there, so they write all the rules of like fermentation and safety.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I reference it a lot when I write articles about pickles. The more you know about Athens, everybody.
Did you have any favorite Athens restaurants that you remember, or?
It wasn't a restaurant. It was the guy that would sit outside the 40 Watt. He would sell hot dogs.
The hot dog guy
with comeback sauce. Yeah, it was the hot dog, grilled hot dog with comeback sauce, which was, I can't describe it to you exactly because he wouldn't tell anyone the secret.
Of course not.
Proprietary information, but it was like grilled onion, like not smoky like a barbecue sauce, but this like brown barbecue-like sauce. I don't know. It was very like consomme rich, but like thick enough to be a sauce that you can like squeeze onto stuff. But I ate like maybe 4 hot dogs in one night. I just kept going outside in the middle of this concert.
I want another hot dog.
I want another hot dog. He was so friendly. And then the way, what did he say? If you want the works, it's not called the works. It's called all the way. So comeback sauce all the way. So I love that. That's my favorite memory of Athens, for sure.
I was pescatarian by the time. So I never ate one of his hot dogs. I should have, and just taken the whatever that would have done to my stomach. But I know exactly who you're talking about.
Maybe by now he'd have adjusted to a more wider audience and has comeback sauce that's vegetarian with the vegan dog. I mean, I've had some really good, innovative vegan dogs lately. Like,
it's crazy versus then when I
versus then for sure
when it just tasted like plastic. They were not good.
I do not love a tofurkey, man. I don't like it. I just don't like it. Can't handle. Ooh, what are these?
These are garlic noodles from this Malaysian restaurant in Atlanta called Food Terminal. That we didn't go out to eat at all during the pandemic, and then like as stuff has gotten a little bit safer, I had looked online at different places on Buford Highway in Atlanta, which is like a place that has a very, very, very high immigrant population and restaurants from like all over, especially compared to the rest of Georgia, from all over the world. And this was so good. Everything I ate at Food Terminal, I was like, oh my God. And I also never had Malaysian food before.
Yeah, I love Malaysian food. I have a high school friend who like grew up next to me, and I got to have some of that sometimes. But I don't remember the name of the very big grocery store in that area, the big international market. Do you know the name of it?
There's the DeKalb Farmers Market, the Buford Highway Farmers Market. Like down here?
Yeah. I walked down the aisles and I was like, oh, you can find everything here.
Yeah. That's that kind of area. It's so like I said, especially compared to other stuff in the South, it's so international. It's so cool just walking around and like getting to try 15 different things you've never had before. Like from all over the world. It's awesome.
I love that. Catching up here in the chat, Emily says, love a biscuit, Sammy.
Me too.
Owen's like convinced to go to New Orleans now. Thank you.
I love New Orleans so much. The food is cheap and delicious,
Me
and there's so
too.
much alcohol. So.
There's also just lots of stuff to see, lots of parks to walk. Like it's just a beautiful place. Like
Mhm.
lots of Spanish moss hanging from the trees. Like it's just a cool place. Like I loved it. David, shout out Georgia. I'm from Middle Georgia. Didn't know that. Awesome. I believe we also have a few Atlanta folks in the chat as well. Let us know if you're here. Oh yes, James, do send that food photo to me, please. Yes. Danella's getting an idea for an ingredient with all this talk of New Orleans. We'll look forward to that toward the end of the show. Oh, we have a little bit of an interruption. Very sorry. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second, and we're going to go back to us here. Hello, it's our big heads back. Guam has redeemed taste test with the channel points. Thank you for spending your channel points. That is 1,000 points. That's a lot to save up, my friends. If you didn't know, if you're in the chat, you accumulate points with every chat that you've been sending and all the minutes that you spend in this show. So you can redeem them to make me do things. One of them is to hydrate. One of them is to fix my posture, because sometimes I slouch while I'm talking. But today is taste test. Thank you, Guam, for redeeming taste test. And today we are going to taste test Meti roti, vegetarian roti with fenugreek. It contains wheat flour, water, soybean oil, fenugreek, salt, red chili powder, turmeric powder, baking powder. And it's from an Indian supply store called Dual here in Brooklyn. So we're going to have some roti. Very exciting. I needed a snack. Thank you.
Looks delicious.
Got all these flecks in it. It's pretty. It's a little spicy. Not spicy enough to make me stop talking. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I get a whole spoonful of hot sauce and I'm like,
oh, that's a lot. That's I think for most people, you know.
I know. Is roti not typically vegetarian? I think it is because they use ghee to bring the dough together. I think they just are explicit about the labeling, just so that people just have a peace of mind when they buy it. Anyway, thank you for redeeming the taste test. I'm going to keep snacking on this and share my screen again to continue talking about food. There's so much food, Shannon. I'm really enjoying all these photos so much.
I'm glad.
I mean, it's so great to look at what other people are eating, because I just get really sick of, my own pantry, even though my pantry is very exciting a lot of the time. Like, I get sick of it. Anyway, you mentioned that you had taken 2 photos at 2 different places of the same dish.
Yes. This is from Homegrown in Atlanta, which is another, I guess, like popular Southern, more like lunch place. They're very well known for like a chicken biscuit, but this is a fake sausage biscuit and fried green tomatoes. I like Mama's Boy's fried green tomatoes more, but I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh,
you have several fried green tomatoes in your
I love fried green tomatoes and fried. I don't have any pictures of it, but like fried catfish, like the cornmeal batter. So good. It's always so crispy.
They look like good buddies. What is the dipping sauce? Is it like ranchy or is it?
That just looks like ranch. I think it's just ranch. This is older. They're older photos. I don't have any nice recent ones because I've just been, haven't been eating out as much.
Hey, your old photos are new to me, so
yes. This is from last week. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember it was definitely ranch.
No. I told you to send things that you enjoy. So clearly you enjoy fried green tomatoes.
I love them. So I was I should have sent. I have a photo somewhere. I went to the Renaissance Fair not long after I got vaccinated, and I bought fried green tomatoes at the Ren Fair, and they're actually very good in Atlanta. There was like little like individual packets of ranch or something that you ate.
So funny.
They were really good.
I have not been to a Ren Fair as an adult. Like I went as a little wench in junior high because I was the last person to go to the costume shop, and so I got the last thing, and I was like, well, I have to be out wench. And people would boss me around all day, and I was like, ugh. But yeah, I want to go as an adult.
It was my first time going, despite being like a lifelong nerd
Really?
who enjoys stuff like that. Yeah, it just never worked out because it's such a short amount of time.
Like a window, yeah. Did you dress up?
I wore like a captain's hat and a very flamboyant outfit. Me and Joel both did, and
Awesome.
we did the and Shelby and Paul were with us too. We did the pirate drinking like pub crawl inside of it, and the pirates kept flirting with Joel and trying to steal his bright shirt.
They have a pub crawl at the Ren Fair?
Yeah, they have different. Like, you pay like $20 and get a little metal flag and thing. They also had 2020 because they didn't have a Ren Fair last year, obviously. So we went. Yeah, you do a little. It's like the adults only, so they just tell like perverted jokes and sing little Ren Fair songs that aren't safe for children. It was really fun. There was a Birds of Prey show I really liked. I got like fried macaroni and cheese on a stick. Yeah, there was like a hawk. There was a condor that was really cool. And some kind of owl too. But I remember
thrilling
when he was going to bring the condor out. I was like, this thing's going to be huge. I'm so excited to see a condor.
When I went with my class, we all got separated into groups to do different activities, and I got stuck with like the women's like braiding. Like just braiding.
I would not do that. I mean, it's cool if people enjoy that. When I'm at a Ren Fair, I want to drink alcohol and run around and see animals and stuff.
I wanted to do the sword fighting. I wanted to do the stunt fighting because they got to do like a little demo at the end. And I was like, that's me. That's me. I want to do
that. Sucks. Gendered.
I know. They're very gendered. Oh, hey, LT. Welcome to the chat. You are not too late. You came at the right time. We have a question from Nuclear Eagle Fox. Are the green tomatoes tomatillos or some kind of other tomato? I believe that they are just green tomatoes and tomatillos have a different inside. Is that right?
Yes. They're just unripe. Just regular unripe tomatoes, so the flavor is more like sour and citrusy.
Yes.
In a green tomato, they're so good. They're very good. So just a normal tomato.
It's much more acidic, and it hasn't developed all that sugar. So when it gets really red, that's when you get a lot of the sugar in the tomato. But tomatillos are actually, I think they're a berry. Technically,
they look like it.
Yeah, they're a berry related to a gooseberry or a ground cherry, and they have a husk on the outside. That's kind of the dead giveaway. If you're confused at the store and you're like, what's the difference? Is this a tomatillo or is it a tomato? The tomato will not have that paper husk on the outside. Tomatillos will always have that paper husk. And if the store has removed the paper husk, if you touch it, tomatillos have like a little bit of a sticky residue. So that's why they prefer to keep the husk on, because you're like, oh, like it's very sickly, like, like you touched, like you tried to get a sticker off of a off of a package, and you're like, oh man, you got a little adhesive on your finger. Not that bad, but I'm just saying that's the key difference if you're trying to tell the difference between the two. But yes, we love fried green tomatoes, obviously, on this stream. Hey, Schmaz, welcome back to the stream. Hello. So follow-up question. Oh, interesting. Is it still savory-ish like a ripe tomato? It's like a little, yes, I would say leans more savory than sweet, versus a ripe tomato. Yes. And LT likes Ren Fairs as well. Glad to have that endorsement, my friend. This is a sandwich.
I was like, I need to find a less disgusting Waffle House picture, but that's Waffle House.
We love a Waffle House.
When I was in,
No, go ahead.
When I was in college, I didn't have any money, and at Waffle House you could get a egg and cheese biscuit for $1 or $1.50.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they're still very cheap, you know. But I would go, and my lunch would be, and it would come with mayonnaise and pickles, so it'd be like a fried egg, a whole bunch of cheese on like a really good Southern biscuit, and I would eat it, and it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, I love Waffle House in general. I admire them. Like, they're so efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the way that they serve food. I've talked about this at length with a few people.
The Waffle House enthusiasm. Yeah, I mean, I have like family members who've worked at Waffle House, which is not always the most it's not like a terrible experience. It's not like it's an abusive company or something, but they at least they would like pay in cash.
Oh wow.
If you wanted, so you could say there were some like interesting people that worked there, or people who were like really into drugs in a bad way, or like sort of, you know. But I mean, it was just like a very colorful or strange environment that's open 24 hours, and you have probably a higher percentage of employees that are like, I don't know, and the food is really, really good, cheap. Southern food.
I actually do love the waffles. I don't eat waffles with syrup. I kind of eat them like I'm a child. Like I eat them with my hands with like a lot of butter. Shmas says any sandwich with that many pickles is a good sandwich, and you got +2 in the chat from Chris and Emily. Glad to see you, Chris. Glad you're here. Yes, I love a Waffle House. My goodness. I feel like you had another also somewhere here. Was it this also?
That
was the other Waffle House?
That's a place in Athens called Big City Bread. It's just another biscuit sandwich.
I mean, biscuits are a great vehicle.
It's smoked salmon, a scrambled egg, and provolone cheese. I think I had my friend Ilya, I think, recommended the sandwich to me. It's you just get a custom biscuit sandwich there, and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So every time I go to Athens, I try to go to Big City Bread and get the gigantic biscuit sandwich with cheese and egg and salmon and.
So really salmon seems to be your popular fish that you've been getting in these photos.
Yes, I really like. That's one of the reasons I'm not vegetarian. It's like fried catfish gumbo, and I like sushi a lot too. But
and what's this last picture?
This is also New Orleans. This is Mina's Palace. It's a gumbo, like crab and rice and the dark roux and all the delicious. I love. I've never made gumbo. I should. I know it's very like. It takes a long time, right?
It takes patience because making that roux, as you mentioned, for people who don't know in the chat, roux is a thickening substance. So you mix equal parts butter and flour and saute it. And the lighter the color, the stronger the bind is. So like it will thicken things really easily when it's like a light colored roux. But as you cook it longer and longer, it takes on a nutty flavor. So you're doing it for the flavor for gumbo. So it's not going to be like too gravy-like. So it actually looks like a soup situation. But yeah, sauteing that takes maybe like 20, 30 minutes.
I would burn it too. The first few times I made roux, it was awful. I burned it and I was like, no, my beer cheese. So I wanted to make
beer cheese.
That's how I learned to make a roux, is because I really wanted beer cheese.
Beer cheese is so good. Delicious. Well, thank you for sharing all these photos with me with the chat. We love seeing what folks are eating, you know, in different places. So this is really cool. So we're back to our big heads. Yeah, roux is an arm workout. Yes, it's true. It's true. And okay, we've got Danelle from the Peru Tourism Board saying Shannon should visit Peru. A whole ocean of fish is out there to eat. It's
I would love to.
Danelle is our resident Peruvian.
I've had Peruvian food in Athens. I think a couple places.
Delicious, delicious, delicious.
Very good.
We keep talking about like when we go to Peru with Danelle, we're gonna get this, and this to eat. Yes, LT, it's true. I do not eat syrup on my pancakes and waffles. Ooh. Owen says, Southern cuisine is really hard to come by here in Europe, in your experience, and I'm so curious about all of this. Yeah, so there's a lot of butter, there's a lot of pork, biscuits, beans, a lot of hearty fare, large portions, I would say. But it's a whole nother subject of another stream for sure. Like,
and I can talk about it at length too. That's probably what I know the most about food wise.
Yeah, as a Brit, I have no concept of what a Southern biscuit is, and it's one thing I want to try. Yes, because you call cookies biscuits. So yeah, it's a different thing altogether. Just a quick definition of it. It is a very cold dough. So you freeze butter essentially in large chunks, and then you cut it into flour at a very low temperature, and then you make a dough from that, and you do this kind of lamination like you would with a croissant. You fold it and then roll it out, but you have to work very quickly or keep freezing it, because you want to keep that butter intact so that it can melt in the baking process, create a rise, and then flaky layers. So biscuits are very easy sandwiches because you just pry them open like a hinge. So that's kind of where it gets at, that lamination.
I'm sure a lot of places use lard too.
Yes, there's a
I don't ask because
combination.
I just want to eat.
Yeah, there's a combination of lard and butter or fats thereof that people use. Yeah, Danelle should get Peruvian tourist board money for sure. Guam, who's in the UK, said, I had grits once and it was an eye opener. Yes, we have lots of grits in the South as well. Oh, Schmas was planning to go to Peru. Wow. Guam also says, would love to have grits every day. Yes.
We were out of instant grits and I was so sad. I went upstairs and I was like, I'm gonna make some grits and have them with some of my nice butter. And I don't want oatmeal. I wanted grits. So.
Very different.
Yes.
Even though I'm a huge fan of savory oatmeal, the grits are like a whole nother mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. And Toria says a biscuit is like halfway between an English muffin and a scone. Yeah, I would say that. Kind of like puff pastry, but yeah, like same method, I would say. Softer crumb, closer to scone than puff. Yeah, you're right. And a softer crumb. Well, friends, we've gotten to, the meat of the subject, meat, the fish flesh of the subject. Do you have any questions for Shannon about pescatarian lifestyle? Like, I just had like basic questions, I guess. Like, so the strict definition for folks who don't know what pescatarianism is you don't eat meats except for fish meats. And it's basically vegetarian plus fish, essentially. Are there things that you specifically are strict about?
I'm usually pretty strict. I think for a long time, like I would eat gelatin. It was in the vitamins that I had, and I wouldn't like bother to see if it was vegetarian or not. But I'll avoid chicken. Like a lot of people eat chicken stock in soups. I don't do that. But also, if I'm at a restaurant and like I really want to eat like certain foods and I don't really want to like be rude or ask like, hey, was this cooked in animal fat? I'm not that careful about it necessarily, but I won't eat, beef or pork or chicken. But when I go to New York, I usually will kind of build up a tolerance for meat and then go because I don't want to not like New York City and some other cities specifically. Like I want to actually be able to experience the food there. And I can't if I'm like in New Orleans, obviously I don't have any problems. So part of why I like it so much, probably because there's so much seafood. But like I said, if I'm going to a city like in New York, then I'm like, I should like eat.
We have way better options now, I would say. Like if you didn't want to adjust your diet for it. But I would 10 years ago, like 15 years ago when I moved here, there were not very good options except for just cheese pizza. Just straight up cheese or potato knish, which is like a block of potato and pastry. It's like very like not a well-balanced diet. We have a question from Nuclear Eagle Fox. Are shellfish included in your diet?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite?
I love
shellfish?
shrimp. I love shrimp. I like crab legs too, which I didn't have until I was in my 20s, and I was like, oh my god, I love crab legs. Everyone loves crab legs, but I really like crab legs.
It's so funny to talk to you about this because I did not eat seafood until about 5 years ago. And in relative time as a chef, that's really late. Most people who watch this show know that I was a picky eater. I'm still a little picky about like bell peppers. I hate bell peppers.
Oh, I hate onions, which is they're in everything in every country's cuisine. So I'm screwed, but I understand.
But yeah, seafood had always been very deterrent for me. Like it was the texture mostly, and mostly being around bad seafood, like seafood that you can smell, and you should not. It should not smell fishy and dank. It should smell fresh and seawater like smell. Like, but now I'm happily eating a lot of seafood. I'm still sort of getting over shellfish a little bit, which is weird because I dove headfirst into oysters.
Like I still don't know about oysters.
I'll eat oysters, but like everything else, I'm kind of like shrimp. I don't know. I am like I'll eat it and be polite, but like I won't order it outright from my menu.
Have you had like a good coconut shrimp or like the big fresh like tiger shrimp that are more meaty? They taste less fishy and less rubbery and more like.
I actually have prawns in my fridge that I'm going to try tomorrow for a book that I'm working on. But I'm allergic to coconut, so I can never have coconut shrimp. They look cool. They look cool.
Have you had a tom yum goong?
Yes.
That's my probably my favorite soup. It's so
Mm.
good. Spicy shrimp.
Okay, we got a question from Danelle. When cooking for yourself, do you try to seek out different fish, or do you mostly go for the classic salmons, it sounds like, or are you severely limited by the availability in your area?
When I was in college, I was limited by how much money I had, so I would buy frozen tilapia and stuff. I'm not as adventurous cooking fish for myself. A lot of what I cook is just vegetarian for myself. There's beans or fake meat or whatever. But salmon is my favorite. When I'm going out to eat, I'll try basically anything.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where I'm going, I have a lot of, especially compared to growing up too, because I kind of grew up first south of Atlanta, not a lot of options, and then I grew up in rural Georgia, also not food desert level, but maybe pushing onto it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But now I could get almost any. Like I said, I don't live near Buford Highway, but I could we could go drive up there, and where I live as well, I could get basically their international markets, which to me is just crazy. I did not have access to any of that growing up, and now I could get any food from
Oh,
all over
yeah.
the world, just very close to where I live, and it's almost overwhelming. It's so exciting to me.
It's very exciting. Follow-up question. Salmon, thoughts on farmed versus wild and the different varieties? Do you have a
I
preference?
don't know a ton about it, but I believe with salmon specifically, wild would be preferred just for quality of the meat and safety of the meat, and that you would want to get it from certain areas, right?
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about it, but I usually try to go for wild, and I don't know a lot about the different varieties. I'm
Well,
not picky.
yeah. The only thing that I would say about this is wild, yes, wild preferred because of the control and knowing where it comes from and good sourcing, good care of the fish, butchered in a clean place. Is that sometimes it's cost prohibitive. Sometimes wild salmon is just super, super expensive, and I'll just get the cheapy stuff that's been frozen once before because that's all I got, and I can't. But they're farmed fish is a very tumultuous industry thing that's happening right now, because it's we're creating so much farmed fish that it's I don't know, it's flooding the market a little bit, and so wild salmon has gone up in price a lot more. If you want to check out a really cool mail order wild salmon place, they ship frozen. It's called Sitka, Sitka, Sitka Salmon Shares in Sitka, Alaska. My friend Marsh runs that company, and
I'll look into that.
yeah, it's really good stuff. I mean, it will be on the higher end, but good for a treat. During the holidays, you think you want to make some really, really nice salmon from Alaska. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Great endorsement here from Toria. Food is culture. Yes, we agree. We agree. Another question from Janelle. What is the strangest seafood you've had?
I don't know. I don't really think even when I was a kid, I had weird stuff like octopus, shark, alligator, and all that, but none of it was that unusual to me. I think my most unpleasant recent seafood experience was I got this canned oyster soup and tried just a little bit of it, and it was just disgusting. It was it was the most rancid ammonia tasting.
No, it was off.
It was a cheap little. I think my cousin had gotten it and was not gonna eat it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll try it." And I tried just the tiniest bit of it, and I was like, I don't hate oysters. It was just I said, a very cheap, I think American or British company. I was like, so I did not like that. But I'm pretty you say adventurous eater. I don't know. I don't think if there was anything all that weird.
Scallops. Have you had scallops?
I've don't know if I've ever had an opportunity and the money to have good scallops, so I've been kind of waiting. They don't look that appetizing to me, and I don't want to get them at a cheaper place and then be rubbery and not good and ruin it. I've wanted to. That's something I've just and I always end up getting salmon or a nice shrimp meal.
Yeah,
so.
really, really good ones will slice very easily or have a mouthfeel that they can bite right through. If it's rubbery, overcooked, way overcooked. They can taste naturally kind of buttery and not so briny, but I would say like a a savory umami, like light miso naturally.
Sounds
They
delicious.
really love butter. They love butter.
I do too, so that sounds good.
Makes sense. Perfect pairing. Nuclear Eagle Fox asks, what motivates you to keep a pescatarian diet? Familiar with the reasoning behind vegetarian or vegan, but never pescatarian.
Part of it is that my family, like genetically, we have like health problems, like heart problems or other stuff that I think would probably be exacerbated by red meat. And it's also just motivationally, if I can't eat hamburgers and hot dogs, if I just sort of limit myself from a lot of like meals that I would consider to be unhealthy, that's advantageous for me. And also on some level, like ethically, my stance on eating animals is like, if I wouldn't be willing to butcher this myself, I don't necessarily want to eat it. It would be a strange experience for me. Killing a fish, I would not feel, like upset or whatever, especially if I like went fishing and caught something myself and like kind of took pride in what I was doing. I don't want to like kill a chicken or a cow or a pig by hand. It's just like
Sure.
I feel like I'm so separated from the source of my food, and it would be very easy to just eat that kind of stuff, but I just prefer not to. And pescatarian is much easier than vegetarian in my opinion, even though I don't like salads. I don't like lettuce that much. I like kale and spinach and
I don't like
arugula
salads.
and stuff like that, but I hate lettuce. I really don't like lettuce. So a million places, oh, you want a vegetarian option, you have some iceberg lettuce and a carrot on it, and I'm like,
oh no,
no, disgusting.
Worst. That's the worst vegetarian, like
no protein, no like actual nutritional value. Yeah,
I mean, I find value in a good wedge salad, but that's only if I intend to eat that. You get stuck with the vegetarian option that's iceberg lettuce. That's like the worst lettuce.
Oh, I don't care for lettuce or even vegetarian options that are just mushrooms. They taste really good, but like I have a family member who really likes Universal Studios, and we would go there and they would take us and like cover food, and I didn't want to get the like $30 salmon things. I'm like, I'm gonna get this little mushroom thing and then be tired all day because I don't have any protein.
Just get hand Shannon a churro or two.
Give me something.
Churro. Oh, that's so funny. Let's see. Shma says, I had fermented skate once and it was not your favorite. Yes, I've heard about that. I've also heard about this very lethal, stinky Swedish fish.
Yes.
I eat with a flatbread.
I don't think I would try that. I like fermented foods a lot, but
I might. I'm kind of a daredevil when it comes to food, so I would try things once. I've had uni, I've had sea urchin, I've had crab, I've had scallops. I have not had shark. Would you consider a turtle seafood? No.
Sure.
Maybe.
I guess it's just so not as popular in places where a lot of people are pescatarian. I mean, it is not a fish, but yeah, I think
people
so.
classify
it's
it on
aquatic
the menu as seafood. Yeah,
I would say it counts.
Well, thank you for answering all those questions about being pescatarian. You are our first pescatarian on the show.
Oh.
We'll get you a pin that says first pescatarian. Only pescatarian. Just kidding. But friends, it is time for the last segment of the show. Are you ready for this? Let's pretend we're on Chopped. If you don't know this TV show, there's a basket with 4 mystery ingredients in it, and chefs have to use them to make a dish. In our case, you, the chat, will tell us what's in the basket. So shout out an ingredient for us to put in the basket. The first 4 will be the ones that we use. There are no wrong answers. The purpose of this exercise is to think about, how far the ingredients can go and maybe inspire your next meal. Maybe. I'll go through each of the ingredients individually, and after that, feel free to tell us how you'd combine 2, 3, or all 4 of the ingredients. Imagine you have a basic pantry and all the tools and time you need in this imaginary world, so you can cure things if you would like to from scratch. Just remember, just features and stuff in the basket. So let's play, friends. Whoa, okay. We are starting with, let's go, Shmas dried shrimp. Ingredient number 1, known typically as brine shrimp. They are very baby. They can retain a lot of that seawater in them, and they're sun-dried most of the time. You can beat these into a paste with a mortar and pestle to basically start any Southeast Southeast Asian dish. So like from larb to soups and curries, dried shrimp is usually the miso of Southeast Asian cooking, just so you know. But they tend to be very salty, so you need to balance it with something else, like another acid or a citrus or a freshness. Number 2, apple juice from Guam. I feel like we know what this is. I feel like we know what apple juice is.
Oh yeah.
And apple juice differs from apple cider, where apple cider still has like the core and the stems and some leaves and the skin. So apple juice is the very pasteurized, filtered version of that. So that's what you're working with. We got white miso from Toria. Okay, white miso is fermented soybean paste, and it is on the younger side of miso. So miso has a spectrum of colors and depth, and sometimes varying kinds of beans. So most of the time it is soybean, and white miso is on the lighter end, more delicate end, and that's mostly used in miso soups. And coating on the outside of fish or rice balls or things like that. So very similarly, you would use shrimp and miso kind of in the same way as a base. And then on the other end is like red miso, rice miso, garbanzo miso. So there's all sorts of misos that you can use. But today we're working with white miso. And number 4, grits. Honoring all the Southern food that we have been talking about today. So grits, ooh, so it's corn, right? It's I don't remember the exact.
It's very similar to polenta. It's like ground up corn. There's like a slight difference.
Yes, grits is a porridge made from boiled cornmeal. So grits has a different grade. So it's more of a coarse texture versus masa harina and cornmeal sold in the stores. So grits are a little bit more rustic. The way that you cook them traditionally is with water or a broth. 20 minutes. It's kind of like a high maintenance dish. You have to keep stirring it because grits, as they thicken, stick to the bottom of the pan. So you got to keep stirring so that it keeps a smooth texture all throughout. And then the way that I like to finish it is with a pat of butter for the last 2 minutes of stirring. So you just slowly add a little bit more butter, and then you put one more pat of butter at the end, and you're just like, ooh, pool of butter on top of the grits. But anyway, grits function just like cornmeal. It's just that the mouthfeel is a little bit more gritty. So you could do it breading, you can fry it. Just be conscious of that. You'd probably want to grind it a little bit more. But thank you, everybody who submitted other ingredients. We're going to have to get you next week if you can be quick about it. Got some fast typers in here. Ooh, yeah. Cider season is starting up here, and I'm ready to take a bath in it. Yum. Okay, friends. So how would you combine dried shrimp, apple juice, white miso, and grits? No pressure. You can use just 2 ingredients if you want to. Just go wild. I will put your answers up on the screen. Yes, stone ground grits, just to be exact, to work for your arms. Thank you, LT, for that. It's just popcorn soup. That's very funny. Yes, it is popcorn soup. Cool. What are you thinking, Shannon? Are there ingredients that you're eyeing on the list?
I think I would. I love grits so much; they're so good. You can fry them into like little cakes.
Yes.
Polenta cakes are also really good. I would probably do like little fried grits cakes and use the apple juice in like a gravy or some kind of reduction with them.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting it in a soup, but I was like, that might be gross. Or it might be like I don't have enough skill, And then just use the shrimp paste and the miso probably to make a soup, but delicious soup with a bunch of vegetables and stuff.
I mean, we could just have plain grits with a shrimp and miso like base.
True,
very
yes.
umami. And there's this sauce, a style of sauce called gastriques, which is usually a vinegar-based sauce. But if we make the apple juice into a gastrique, so it's like butter, add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, or age the apple juice into a vinegar, because we have all the time in the world in this imaginary situation. Make a vinegar out of the apple juice, make a gas streak that will, you know, be a nice garnish for your grits. Okay, we've got an idea here from Schmas. I'm thinking like a yum salad with pounded shrimp. Yeah, a tom yum salad. Yeah. Pounded shrimp, shallot, cilantro, lime, peanuts, chilies, maybe some green apple, all topped on some grits cooked with the apple juice and miso for like a sweet and savory porridge. That
sounds really good.
That sounds great. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yes, we can season the grits, Toria, with miso and powdered shrimp all mixed in. I mean, there are varying textures that we can have. We can hydrate the whole shrimp and just, you know, strain off that really salty liquid and still have just whole little baby shrimpsies. You can also deep fry those and just have like a garnish,
crunchies,
a crunchy, like you would have garlic or onion crunchies on something, but instead ours is shrimp. Yeah. Yeah, apple juice on the side. Ta. Yeah. I love having Brits in the chat.
Ta.
Yes, that's a great idea. Does anyone else have ideas on how you would combine, again, the ingredients we're playing with are dried shrimp, apple juice, white miso, and grits. Okay, so another way to think about this challenge is to think about things that already exist that you could just swap in ingredients. So if I like an apple juice cocktail with like bourbon, I think a miso wash on the glass sounds perfectly natural.
That sounds like delicious.
A miso roasted nut, like, or something. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Miso roasted nut on a grit cake. Ooh, with some condensed milk, like a sweet situation. That might be cool.
That sounds good.
Ooh, I've heard of people making caramel with miso.
Ooh.
So we could do like white miso caramel with like an apple. I haven't quite gotten there yet.
That sounds good.
How could you do an apple thing? So we don't have any solids. It's apple juice. Could do gelatin, apple flan. Maybe apple juice flan.
Ooh, with miso caramel.
With miso caramel at the bottom of the pan. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let's see here. We're thinking, Nuclear Eagle Fox says, I'm thinking rehydrated popcorn shrimp using the grits and the breading and the miso and apple for a dipping sauce. Oh, good call. Yeah, breading the baby shrimps. That's a great idea.
Crunchies, that sounds good.
You took our earlier thought and like expanded on it. That's great. Miso and apple for dipping sauce. Yes. Oh, LT, this would have been a perfect week for your fish lips gumbo. You suggested fish lips last week. We have another one from Schmas. I feel like you could make like a pounded shrimp fluff seasoned with miso for like a pork floss vibe. True.
Ooh.
We could put the shrimp in a food processor, flounce it up, and then maybe dehydrate the miso a little bit so it's a little bit more crumbly, and then mix that all together for like a popcorn shake.
Ooh, nice fresh hot popcorn.
Yeah. Maybe mix. Okay, here we go. Toria says mix miso and apple juice to make dressing for salmon before lightly roasting. That's a great idea. Yeah. That's so cool. Another one here. Wow, all of you are so chatty today. This is great. Could you deep fry apple sorbet like fried ice cream, but use the grits in the coating? Yeah, I would pulverize the grits a little bit more, but essentially you could do it. Yeah, apple juice sorbet. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that totally works. Oh, man, y'all are popping off. Look at this. Shrimp and miso croquette. You don't have to use the other two. I think shrimp and miso croquette sounds really great.
That sounds delicious.
And we use the grits on the outside there. Or we could do grit cake that is also still coated in another breading.
More bread. Plate of fried stuff.
Double breading.
That sounds good.
I'm guessing you use the apple juice as a glaze. Yes, you could. If you did any kind of roast situation, if we did roasted carrot, or if we did a roasted turkey or roasted chicken, yeah, you could definitely do it. Or roasted apples even. Meta, right? Let's see. Can grits, Owen asks, can be like deployed for dessert, or is it always savory?
It's not necessarily a dessert. Some people do eat sugar or maple syrup in their grits. Some
Or
people
like
be like, only
cinnamon?
Yankees do that. But it doesn't, whatever. It's good. There's like a weird, I don't know. People are weird about their grits. I wouldn't say it's a dessert. It's sort of like if you put maple syrup on a waffle, it's not a dessert. But you can eat them sweet. It's good. Still be good with apple in it. I like
Yeah.
both. People are silly about it.
I've definitely had a cinnamon sugar grit before.
Mm,
But I much prefer
the
my
butter and
my
stuff.
egg and butter and like bacon and the sausage, all
There
of
was a
it.
restaurant, I think in Charleston, that had blackberry grits that sounded really good, but they were like $3 more than regular grits. I was like, I'll
Oh
just take
hell no!
regular grits. These are grits. It's cost you nothing.
It should
It
not
sounded good
cost as
though.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got a addendum to the earlier croquettes. You could use the grits as coating for that too, like half grits, half panko. Ooh, that's how you could get around the bite for sure.
Mm,
If you use fruit juice and a lot of tonkatsu sauce to finish it off. Oh, apple juice tonkatsu.
that
That's
sounds
perfect.
delicious.
You know why that's perfect? Because in a lot of Japanese curries, the thickener is not cornstarch. It is a ground up apple, Asian pear, or a pear. So apple juice makes total sense in that soy flavor profile. So
I really
great
like
thought.
Vermont curry. It's got like apple and honey on the packaging. It's so good.
Yes. So good. Last call for ideas, friends, on how you would combine biba dried shrimp, apple juice, or the other one, white miso, and grits. This is a great combination. They really go well together. So
I
good
want
job.
miso grits now.
I know.
Like
I
I wish I
actually,
had.
I actually cooked that in a competition before.
Oh,
I did cakes. We did fried cakes with a finish with a scallion and a spicy mayo on
that
top.
sounds delicious.
Well, friends, I think it's time to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for your contribution and your chats and your fact checking today. Shannon, please reintroduce yourself to the folks who might have come in that halfway point, and how can they follow you and support you?
Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at Plenty of Alcoves. I am a player on the Teenage Superhero Body Horror Actual Play podcast, Critical Bits, which is at Critical Bitcast. And if you're in Atlanta, we're doing a live show 10 p.m. Friday at Southern Fried Gaming, which is really cool.
Ooh,
Tabletop
is
convention.
it streaming or is it just live?
It'll be up on our Patreon after.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I think Joel's recording it. I'm also the film correspondent for the Pop Culture Podcast Struggle Session. And on YouTube, I have video essays on the horror stuff, parasocial relationships, all sorts of things.
Yes, you do.
You got a lot on there.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I always love hanging out with you, and hopefully soon we'll do it in person when I come down.
Yes, that'd be so fun. I'll
So
just yell
fun.
at you about restaurants down here. We
Yes.
gotta go here. We gotta go here. We gotta go here.
Please yell at me about restaurants. Please yell at me about One Piece all the time, anytime.
Yes.
Please react.
Also,
I
real
love
fast,
it.
Paul and his wife are watching One Piece. They're in Water 7 too, coincidentally.
Really?
I think
Oh, cool.
you're around the same place, I think. They might be just ahead of you.
Wonderful. Well, I will have to tweet at Paul then. Just tag Paul everything. Oh, did you say that? Did you say that?
Oh, y'all are, it's crazy. Coincidentally, you're at you're very close to each other. And in a series that's like 1,000 episodes long. Anyway.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you could please stick around before I sign off. Thank you so much, Shannon. For everyone else, if you want to click around on the links below the video, I've got Patreon to support the channel and my weekly recipes. There are 4 a month for $2 a month. It's really easy and fun. We have Netflix parties where we watch Japanese cooking shows together. It's really cool. I also have an Etsy store linked there with my cookbook. I will sign them and draw an egg for you in there. And so many other things to engage and send me photos of your cooking stuff. Thank you, everybody. Our latest float, the last float chatty, went up on Monday on the Fun City Patreon. We have a little bit of a break before we get back to Shadowrun, but we'll let you know when we start recording again. Thank you so much for the support, and thanks for hanging out in the chat. Please stick around. I think we're going to try to raid somebody if you stick around in the chat, my friends. We'd love to send you all to a wonderful artist or friend who is streaming right now. Happily, we'll take suggestions. But for now, thank you so much. Next week, I am not streaming. I'm not streaming next week. We are preempting the show because I have a live show with Shannon Odell at Caveat. It's called Underqualified, where Shannon is trying to interview for new careers because she doesn't really like being a neuroscientist. So if you're in New York City, would love to see you at Caveat next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Otherwise, we're not streaming it. I'm very sorry. Hopefully, you all will catch me another time. But thanks again. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and goodbye, all. Stay tuned for a raid for another channel. Okay? Bye. See you later.